one that Raya scuffled. I don't know why that Raya made a mistake in trying to find
exactly.
I don't know what was doing there.
Gamma tried to. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Just take your
Just
chance.
lift the ball, lift it up, and that's it. So there are players that are meant for. I used to. It reminds me when like Van Nistelrooy, all those kind
Oh
of
yeah,
people.
Nistelrooy. Before you even make the mistake, he has already scored.
The ball is in the back of the net. So these are in big games, you don't get many chances, but when you get them, you just take them. But like I said, Chelsea will win the league this season.
Okay. I'm actually.
He didn't bring his wine, so he's trying to.
Oh, I'm actually in the middle of a party.
I see.
The house party. And I asked them to save me a bottle of red wine, sweet for names.
You're celebrating with Chelsea for their 1-point win.
For their bravery, yeah.
That one point looks like a 3 points win for them.
Some of them are actually feeling bad about it, but I was totally excited for them, and I was so happy.
Yeah, it was a good game, and that's Premier League for you. First 5 minutes of the game tells a lot how it's going to go. Once you're off pace in a big game, it takes a little bit to come back. Emperor, you're mute.
Oh, okay. But for some reason, Arsenal, we always start slow. I don't understand why we just.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get to Arsenal. Let's start. Transit TV, welcome to Reggie Football Show, our weekend roundup. It was an intriguing weekend, though no surprises in the results. But we have a few games to run through before we get to the game of the weekend, the heavy one, the big one, the one that we had planned to come today with our bottles of wine and glasses of champagne to celebrate. Unfortunately, nobody has the bragging right to celebrate except for some Chelsea fans who feel that the 1 point is as good as 3. They didn't expect to get a result out of Arsenal. So we're here today with the main people. Of course, Nimi is representing Chelsea full-blooded. He was very confident last weekend when we were doing our preview of these games that Chelsea was going to win the game and do good. Credit to him, Chelsea didn't disappoint. Chioma is here today as usual. The usual musketeer and the Emperor is making a return to the show today, repping Arsenal as well. What a day to come back to the show. So our viewers, you're welcome to the show and join us. And before we start, let's plead with you again. If you have been enjoying this show, a lot of our viewers have not subscribed, and they will see that they're repeated viewers of the show, but somehow maybe you guys forget to subscribe. Please, we are begging you. On our road to 5,000 subscribers, hit the like button and subscribe to the show right now before we start. And let us know your views on. We have some activities on the last show that we did. People are beginning to, come active in the comment section. So I know it's going to be a heated debate today. You viewers get in the thick of it. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel. Some people, I can see Nimi is gathering some fans on our comments. And we'll see how that pans out. So guys, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you
very much. I said I will be here. I'm here live and direct. Chioma, I see you're already in party mode after forcing a 2-2 draw. Well, it's all good. We're here. Thank you again for having me.
Chioma, you're on mute.
I brought the wine for you, Nini, to celebrate you. It's for you.
Nini came with
No, I came with water. I came with holy water. This is holy water. It's holy water. I already have my wine. You can ask Reggie. I texted him. I said my wine. I have my red wine from Bordeaux in France. I was gonna pop it, and Sanchez did what Sanchez knows how to do.
Sanchez now.
Okay, we'll go. Let's run through a few results and then we'll get into the main, of course, game of the day. Liverpool started the day beating Everton 2-0. They kind of struggled in that game, and it took a long time before they could break Everton down. We all know that Ashley Young, I don't even know why that tackle was given as a red card, but we know Everton got a red card, and Liverpool eventually broke them down and got 2 goals and won that game. Does anybody have any thoughts on that game? For me, Everton didn't offer anything going forward. They looked like a team that had no idea of, or who didn't understand that you can only win games when you score goals. They just came there to try to stifle Liverpool and offered nothing going forward. I don't know. Everton is, as the day breaks, keeps going backwards. You know, I mean, these are one of the teams that they were mainstay, at least in the middle of the table in England. But all of a sudden, I'm sure if we didn't have these 3 teams from Championship that joined EPL this season that are faltering, Everton should have been in the thick of relegation again. And this for me looks like it's going to be an all-season story. So I don't know what you guys think about it. This statistics on that game. Liverpool had 77% possession in a Merseyside derby. I don't know. It doesn't look good for Everton now. Sean Dyche looks like he has run out of ideas. There's no more respect for his team. I remember in those days in Burnley, if you are playing against Burnley, home or away, you are weary of the fact that you're going to really have a battle of the day to contend with. But now, I don't know what's going on. So you guys, does anybody have any thought on that game?
I mean, I didn't really watch the game like fully. But what I can say is, I mean, to be honest, Everton, I feel like they might go down. But however, the game was kind of like tough for Everton. When the game started, I watched like a couple of minutes. They were actually having a good game. I actually left to go play soccer. So when I came back, it was 2-0. I checked the stats. Ashley Young got a red card. That was probably in the 80th minute. But so to start with, everybody keep telling me that Liverpool are really like, oh my God, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Can someone just take 1 second?
I think Stanley, I don't know if he's having glitch, but I think can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think you know, for the past 3 seasons now, Everton has been struggling.
Okay.
It's not just coming from the fact that they're playing on the field; it's all out of the field too. If you remember, Everton has been trying to get buyers to buy the club. They have gone under administration. They're trying to look into that, and they haven't found buyers yet. So the club is short of funds. And what that means is they can't purchase the caliber of players that we want to purchase. So what that means is for the past 2 seasons, Everton has escaped on the final day of the season. That's not a team that is, looking up and up. This is a team that is looking down and down. And there's a reason why Everton hasn't won in Anfield for almost for years and years and years. To me, this derby is one of the worst derbies.
Yeah, in England.
There's no competition. We know at the end of every game it's going to be Liverpool 65 to 70% possession, and Everton wouldn't, be able to muster anything. I was even surprised that held Liverpool to over 75 minutes before they could score.
Yeah.
That is not a good sign for.
Yeah, but Everton had funds. I think they had their problem was more of mismanagement, because you remember this former Arsenal owner, what's his name?
Usmanov,
went over and took over in Everton, and they spent a lot of money buying players before Lampard went there, and unfortunately those buys did not work, and they've been struggling since then. I think it's been more of a, and I don't know if Sean Dyche was a good fit. I would have believe that once he helped them escape relegation, they should have just got him fired and get a better coach to.
No, I don't think at this point with that Everton team, even if you bring Jesus Christ with that team as a manager, there is a foundational issues with the team. You can't, Sean Dyche. Okay, let's talk about it. Take it about this way. How many of those players are Sean Dyche's players? How many of those players are purchased by Sean Dyche? That's not his team. He's still trying to figure things out with limited resources. So let's.
No, what I mean is, like, Sean Dyche right now, he's like the Sam Allardyce of 10 years ago. There's nobody that, even the teams that came from championship are not playing that kind of football anymore. So if you want to keep him in your team, then you have to go and almost manufacture your own players, because everybody now wants to play football the way it should be. Even Sheffield United, Burnley, them have all moved on from that according to
anywhere below soccer.
Exactly, So
Yeah.
if you keep him there, that means you need to have a factory for yourself to produce the kind of players that you're going to need.
Nobody
plays football like that anymore.
I've been talking a lot, but let me round it up this one. Emperor and Chioma have something to say. You just stated it. None of those, 90% of those players are not Sean Dyche's kind of players.
Yeah, that's why they should get rid of him and get a coach that can, work with those players.
But Sean Dyche is just like Crystal Palace coach. What's his name?
Roy Hodgson.
They are brought in to do a job.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. I believe once they survive the relegation, they should not let him go.
No, Everton is content with just being in the Premiership.
It is not even secure. Right now, it's not even a shot for them anymore. They are really, the relegation.
They will survive. They will survive 14th or 15th.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Finish.
Okay, let me just round up. I don't think Sean Dyche is Everton type of manager, because they have a good squad. I was just thinking about from their defense to midfield. They have a good squad. Their left back, Makalenko. They have what was the other guy's name? They have the midfield. They have I can't remember his name.
They have Dakure,
Onana.
Yes.
They have Onana. They have boys.
Ghana. They have Abdullahi. They have some.
Even the central defense. I think Cody is
there. From Kane.
Mike Keane. Yeah, Keane is.
I
think he actually plays for England as well. Yeah, they have players like you said,
and they have an established goalkeeper. So I just feel like my preference for a coach might be this Fulham manager, Marco Silva. Personally, I feel like he might do a good job in Everton. And also, who is their striker again?
Calvin Lewin. And
I think he's lasting, man. They need a striker. They just need ever since he came back from that injury, he's not been the same player, man. They just need to get.
For me, he has never really been a striker to
exactly. So
they this English football players hype.
Yes,
that guy is not. The player that scores 5 goals in season 7.
And they have this other guy that plays for England, the left footer. They're on the 21. Their left winger.
I know who you're talking. The guy that came from Burnley. I know.
Yes, he's really good. What's his name again?
Let me see.
I think McFadden. That's his.
No, it's not. That's not his name.
No, I've forgotten his name. Yeah, I know the skinny guy. McNeil.
Yes. McNeil.
Yeah, very good player.
He's a very talented player. So they have good. I feel like they have a team that can actually, compete for the top 10. But like you said, I don't think Sean Dyche is their type of manager.
No, they didn't. Yeah, Tarkowski was once started as one of the best central defenders in the league.
Exactly,
he can defend and actually play football. So he can play with Sean Dyche. So let's look at City Brighton. Chioma, let's have your view on this one. What did you make of it? It looks like City's dominance and whitewash of teams has really gone down. They tend to fight it out these days. I know they took their early lead 2-0 against Brighton, but eventually Brighton came alive into the game, opened City up. Actually should have at the end of it gone away with at least a point from that game. What did you make of it?
Well, I didn't watch the game. I didn't complete the game. I'm not sure I didn't watch enough minutes to see what was happening, but I think we had spoken about Brighton and the kind of team that they are, how they were supposed to play out wide and suffocate City and do a lot of things to them, but it's no more. I'm sure that Rodri played that day. I'm very sure,
he
else he
did,
didn't
of
make
course. He
it.
played.
Of course. So if it's back, then that means war. And Alvarez scored. If I saw the score sheet, I saw the score
He got the
sheet. So
first goal.
he scored. So if Rodri is back, he's not a cageable guy. He's not known to stand in a spot. So I don't think Brighton they didn't have a plan for that game. Because someone was saying something about how Brighton was going to play wide, stress City out. And, because they've lost 2 games in a row, they might, find a way to play around them. But if Rodri is back, he's the glue they need, irrespective of, KDB not being there. But Rodri does magic to that team. He finds a way to fix everything together. Okay, he makes them more mobile.
Yeah,
He makes them
he
too
does.
mobile
He
for
does, and he actually did. But to be honest, if I'm a City fan right now, I'll be a little bit worried because I will be a little worried. City no longer has the dominance they usually have in games. They come and blow teams away for 90 minutes. But this game, Brighton actually we are in the game until the end. Emperor, did you watch that game or Nini? Does anybody have any thoughts before?
Yeah, I did. I watched like 20 minutes end of the game. So one thing I can say about Brighton is because their coach is very stubborn. He has one style of play from the back, pass from a dunk to just play from the back, and he would never change for anybody. I feel like Pep was waiting for that. So even when they were 2 goals down, they were still actually playing from the back. So honestly, I knew City was gonna win that game, but I didn't know it was gonna. When they actually got that goal back, I just feel like it was kind of a little too late. But they were just waiting for City to just, waiting for Brighton to press from the back, pretty much. They don't have a second style of play. Just sometimes, mix it up sometimes.
Exactly. Honestly, Brighton has been inconsistent, especially when it comes to big teams. I don't think they are going to make that break into the
top six.
Top 6.
No.
I think they're going to stay where they are, especially if they continue with their culture of producing players and moving them on to the big teams. So yeah, then we'll have another surprise. Look at the only surprise or big surprise game of the weekend was Newcastle wiping Crystal Palace 4-0. In fact, I saw a prime last season Mikel Arteta Arsenal team in Newcastle yesterday. They were flying in the movement off and on the ball, slick passing. Kieran Trippier has remained ageless, refused to get old, laying off passes and orchestrating their transition to from defense to attack from that right wing. It was a very, very lovely and beautiful game to watch yesterday, coming from Newcastle, a team that I know I've called them out on this channel many times that they don't have identity. I think it's getting to a point where Newcastle now need to establish themselves and decide how they want to play. They look very beautiful yesterday and blew Crystal Palace away. Barros never had any answer to the questions that Newcastle brought to the table yesterday, and they lost that game 4-0. I don't know, did any of you watch the game? Murphy and Kieran Trippier were just in the thick of it from the beginning to the end.
With Newcastle, we're not surprised with what they're doing. Eddie Howe is a wonderful, wonderful coach. He proved himself at Bournemouth with the limited resources that he has, and came to Newcastle. Let's not forget when he took over Newcastle the season before, I think so. They were last, they were bottom of the league, and he was able to transform that team. And what he has done is it's now like a well-oiled machine. Almiron goes to Paraguay for South American qualifiers. Murphy comes in. Murphy gives, I think, 2 assists and 1 goal.
And 1 goal, yeah. Beautiful goal and beautiful assist.
And Isak goes off. the striker, what's his name? The guy that came
Callum
from
Wilson.
Callum Wilson comes in and he delivers. Newcastle, you should be looking out for Newcastle. This is what I'm saying. To the big guys, Newcastle is a train that is beginning to roll. Let's not forget, they have scored the highest number of EPL goals this season. They are scoring left, right, and center. So we should be worried because once they stick, that trident of Tonali, Joelinton, and
But Tonali didn't even start that game.
Tonali didn't start. They have Longstaff. The Longstaff. And
Tonali, that should be listed of his worries right now. Starting honestly,
that boy Longstaff, he brings goals while playing from the midfield too. So
he's a typical English midfielder, very industrial.
It's a team that I'm worried about, and they're just getting started. My boy Gordon has just started doing his thing. So we should, all of us be worried about
that. Your boy Gordon, how is he your boy?
Yeah, because Chelsea was about to sign him. Everything was asking for too much money.
But on that note, that Murphy of a dude, man. I don't understand. He's a good player. He's just so underrated. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's not that he's underrated. This thing, for you to get that recognition, you have to be consistent. He has done that yesterday. Then maybe another 2 games, you won't see him. He won't even start for them. That's the problem.
Because he keeps Amiron on the bench sometimes in so many games. And sometimes I question.
Yeah, you know what happened? Just like I said before, Eddie Howe, especially when they play big games, he goes defensive. So that's why most of the time Amiron doesn't start. When he goes games that they're approaching with a low block style of play, he doesn't really necessarily start Amiron because he's not good defensively.
Yeah.
But when they want to play expansive football, that's when Amiron comes alive because he has space and support to run because he as much as he has skills, it also depends on his pace a lot to hurt teams. Chioma, did you see any part of that game?
Okay, I thought someone was saying something.
Oh no, I was just trying to say St. James Park. Like we sometimes I debate whether Arsenal, Emirates Stadium, and St. James Park, which one is more like vocal.
Stanley, let's leave what are you
No. My point is they are home. They are really their fans.
No, I only can compare Newcastle to Emirates. Newcastle as a city has only one team, which is Newcastle.
Yeah.
When there is a game in Newcastle, the city shuts down. Everybody that lives there. 90% of them are Newcastle fans, so you cannot. It's like a carnival when they have a home game.
Yeah,
and the stadium is huge. It's huge, and there's something people have been complaining. I've not been there, but fans have gone there to watch games as away fans have complained in the stadium where the away fans are kept and way top on the stadium. So you can't even make an impact to your team. Your team has to be good.
That's a very good strategy.
Yeah. So the team has to really be very good and confident to come to St. James's Park and make an impact because they can't even hear your support as an away.
That's a great strategy.
Fan. Yeah. I hear most of the time Arsenal fans on aftv troops and they rub it, and they always complain about it. And the league should do something about it and let them, compare them to bring, give the away fans a position where at least they can have some impact on their team. But I mean, that's their own strategy and it's been working for them. Yeah, Newcastle. Chioma, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh, you were still talking about Newcastle. I thought you had finished. So I was just going to talk about Newcastle's defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there's something they really worked out from how many seasons ago when they were not very Newcastle, before the money came in and they did a lot of remodeling and moving around. If there's anything that is standing out about Newcastle, is their defense. Remember when we did the Champions League draw and now everybody was whining, group of deaths. Like, look at what these guys have done. They played their first game like kings. The second game, they took them out like kings. So if there's anything that stands out for me about Newcastle is the defense. Of course, we know who
they
those guys
have
are.
they
We
have
know
a solid defense.
they
Yeah,
have a very
I
good
agree with you.
defense. Last season, it was all kudos to their defense. Believe me, those guys was all kudos to their defense. I didn't really like, see the whole goal strides last season with them, but this season they came back and they're scoring people 4, giving people 5. It's crazy. So if they we're talking about Trippier, yeah, Trippier is a bad guy as a captain,
Man,
right?
I've
He's a
not,
solid
man, what
man.
a signing.
That
I
team.
think it's about
He's
one of the
been the
best
solid
signings.
man in Newcastle for how many years? Because they have a team for very long players, okay? So you see, they're invested in what they are doing. So if Kieran has enough time and space to give assists in the game, then there's something about that defense. Because if you guys know Trippier now, you know the work he does, you know the load of work he does. So if he had time to give assists in a game, it means that the back is safe. Remember Newcastle of how many seasons ago? If that guy is not there, it's done. It's done. So that means that for this season, for last season, they've done a good job. And look at their players. They have people that they are willing to take bets on. We have one of our kids in there, Wilson, right? And he's
Willock.
He's not been
Willock,
playing.
sorry,
I think
Willock, no,
he
Wilson,
just came
Willock,
back
yeah,
from
Willock.
injury also.
I know he was out, but all through
last
seeing
season he
him
was a
play,
mainstay last season for Newcastle. Got a lot of goals
exactly.
for
I
them.
saw him, yeah, but I saw him in a different light. He went to Newcastle and they took him more seriously than we did.
Of
I'm
course.
sorry, Arsenal fans, but I feel like he blossomed at Newcastle than the time he got in Arsenal. So that's just what I want to say. And just like he said, we have to be weary of Newcastle. Really.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. If anything at all, the beginning of the season for them didn't match my expectation. Is now they are beginning to show what I expected of them, because what they did last season was commendable. They gave you the fight, and they broke into that top 4 on merit. It wasn't like somebody fought out or there was a fluke. All season they sustained that fight and they got it. So I was even thinking that they're going to go for be in contention for the title this season. So I'm not particularly surprised, but they are really doing a good job. They're doing a good job. I've called them out here a few times about their style of play, especially when they're playing big games. But I think Eddie Howe has worked it out, and he's stuck to the way he wants to approach the season. And so far, Champions League, they're top of the league, I think, on their group, and they are in top 4 in. They are doing well on the league. So it's a good time for anybody connected with Newcastle at the moment, and they should be very hopeful about the future. I think, and again, their owners too, the way they are going about their business is also commendable. They're not throwing money about.
Yeah.
They're just building the team slowly and sustaining challenge both on all fronts. So good time for Newcastle. Then let's look at United, Sheffield United, Man United, Sheffield United before we move to Arsenal, Chelsea. That was, for me, unfortunately, we couldn't get our Man U fans on the panel today. They were engaged. It's a worrying time for anybody that is a Man U fan now. I watched that game. It was drab. Even the commentator said it that United have been relying on individual brilliance these days to get them out of jail in games. And that was exactly what happened yesterday. You watch United play, and you can just make out what they're trying to do as a team. You know that they have players in that team to do bits, and that's all you're hoping for. With Rashford come to light, with Bruno from nowhere, getting a long range goal or something, and sometimes it just happens and they win a game. But deep down your heart that they are not just. I don't know if you guys watch the game. I watched that game. I just had to watch it because I needed to talk about it today, but there was nothing to watch about in the game, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not worried about Manchester United because they have a huge problem. I feel like their coach does not know his starting 11. That's the major problem. If you manage to come in the 70th minute and do a magic and score like 2 goals, next upper week you start the game. That's for sure. You're gonna start. McTominay has never played for so long. All of a sudden, he's been starting games and scoring. The moment he goes missing the next game, and Messi scores, Messi starts the game. So he needs to figure out who is the first 11, because he doesn't know his first 11 right now. So he just goes by once you perform, like based on based on game performance. If you do better in a game, you will start the next game. So like I said, before the start, after I watched the first 4 games, I didn't tip Man U to finish in the top 5 for real.
Mm-hmm.
I can bet on Chelsea to finish higher than Manchester United right now. So they just need to figure out, and this so-called Sancho issue going on now. I'm sure a lot of Man U players are not happy with that. I know some of these guys have like Sancho is a popular player. He does his social media. I know he has a lot of fan base. Rashford, these guys have like WhatsApp group. They have these guys talk. For you to come out and talk about, oh, he's not doing well. Some of these players don't like that. They have a group chat, and this sometimes brings disunity in the team. So I feel like the manager handled this wrongly. He shouldn't have come out publicly to just, tell us that he's not doing well. You just talk to him, behind closed doors or something. So some of these things, yeah.
For me, I don't think I agree with you. Not that what he did is right, but as a coach, if you have tried to work with a player and he's not changing, and let's not forget that last season, Ten Hag gave this guy 3 months off the season to try to figure, sort out his mind and emotions, which is very, very commendable. I mean, there's work to be done. You're paid to do a job. You can't keep looking at your face all the time. If you can't do the job, then I think the Sancho for United is finished. Either he's done with United or Ten Hag might have to leave. But if United goes that route again to get rid of Eddie Ten Hag, then another 10 years, United is not going to be relevant because this keeps happening. There's a culture in United where these players just down tools and get a coach out of the team. So if they want to get the team back to winning ways, then they should stick by Eddie Ten Hag this time and probably get rid of Sancho so that other players will know that you're not irreplaceable, because these boys, they keep having their way. They got Mourinho fired. Only I don't rate him, but I mean the same thing happened. David Moyes, these things keep happening every season in, season out. So you can't keep doing that and doing the same thing. I want to expect different results. So for me, whether it was wrong or right, I mean, it's in public domain now, and even if Sancho comes to apologize tomorrow, it doesn't look real anymore. So I think he should just move on. I think it's
also let me add to that. I feel like, looking at Erik ten Hag, he looks like a very stubborn manager. Like, he doesn't tolerate a lot, and being his first early reign as a Man U coach, this is the first time he's having like a serious issue with a player. So he's trying to set his, put it out there like, I'm the man in charge. So if he doesn't set an example with Sancho right now, all the players are really watching to see how this will go down. So he might want to bring him back, but at the same time, he's like, okay, I'd rather lose one player than lose the dressing room. So he's very careful about the situation right now. So
I think he has to do that because United. Yeah. Remember us now 5, 6, 7 years ago. Culture is very, and not just in football. If you're trying to build a successful organization, regardless of what they're trying to achieve, the culture is a very important ingredient. If you don't get the culture right, then it's difficult to achieve anything. So,
I think, respectfully, I think you guys are missing the biggest point with Manchester United. I don't think as Emperor would say, this player plays well. Let's look at the stats and the facts there. Manchester United are missing at least 10 of their players. As a matter of fact, their starting defense line is out injured. Let's look at it. Wan-Bissaka is out. Luke Shaw, the starting right back, is out. The starting left back is out, Luke Shaw. The replacement for the left back, Malacias, is out. The replacement for the replacement, Reguilon, is out. Just coming back. Let's look at the center backs. What do you call him? Varane is out.
Yeah.
The boy Martinez is out. You look at the midfield, Casemiro is out. So when you look at it, where do you start from? A situation where you're bringing in Maguire and 85-year-old Chris Evans to come and play center back.
But Nini, these players didn't get injured the same. This thing has been on for a while. From the beginning of the season, it has been like
exactly.
I think started the season. Very started the season. Luke Shaw was playing. When we started playing against Arsenal, I remember very well. So these players, I know right now you can say that, but this has been the story for a little bit.
With everything going on, do you guys think soccer is? First of all, you brought in some new players coming in. The coach was hinging on Holland to be starting number 9. Everybody got to play to Holland's strength now. They got to rejig the team. Mason Mount came in. He had an idea of where Mason Mount will play. They got armor, but they got new players. They will need to gel. So let's calm down. Let's wait till those players come. I know, is Manchester United doing the best right now? No. Are they playing nonsense soccer? Yes, they are playing a soccer where it's elementary soccer that they're playing, very boring soccer. But I will start judging Manchester United November, start of December, when I see the players are back and their full team is back.
But what you have to bear in mind is because of the way the game is going now, the amount of games that players and teams are playing, no team actually has time. It has all their players available. Right now, yesterday was the first time Arsenal front three played together in the whole season. This is 9th game into the season. So you can't use that as an excuse. If you're a big team, you're a big team. I remember when Arsenal fans used to say a player was injured and if people are laughing at it, it's supposed to, the ones that played are also Arsenal players. So the guys that are on the pitch are United players. If Thomas Partey,
let me tell you something.
If you remember when we are doing combined 11, one of the reasons why he took out Zinchenko was because he's not been available almost all season. He only played 3 or 4 games. Thomas Partey, the same thing. So everybody has the same problem. Everybody has the same injury problem.
I agree with you. You say it's a big team. Yes, it's just like you take Rice out and you bring the Egyptian dude, what's his name, for Arsenal. And then there's a big gap in quality.
Yeah, there is, for sure. I understand what you're saying, but my point is, like what we're talking about is Zerbi. He lost against Man City yesterday. But you can see this is what he is trying to do. This is what he wants to do. Yeah. That's what we're saying. United can lose games. Everybody can lose games. But when you go into a game, let somebody understand this is what you're trying to do. I remember in those Arsene Wenger, even if you give him elementary school boys, they're going to the pitch, they play like Arsenal. So that's what people are saying. And right now, most of the players that are in United are signed by Ten Hag. So these are the players that he should have done his homework and believe that they will fit what he's trying to do. That's the worry right now. If he had come in and he's still working with the old player that he made there, then you can say, he's still trying to mold his team. But he has large portion of the players right there right now that he signed by himself. So
on that note, Nimi mentioned about he doesn't have his players. And so my point is he spent over 60 million on Mason Mount. He brought in the guy from the African guy.
Amrabat.
He brought in Amrabat. He has other players on the bench. The players from last season. Those are his players because the fact that he did not sell them, he didn't get rid of them. He got rid of some players and left the rest. The fact that you didn't get rid of those players, those are your players. So this is not a team of 11 players, it's a team of over 20 players. Everyone has to play. So this whole thing of, he's injured, this one is not. He has other players. Those are his players. Because if he didn't want this player, he could have been gone in the summer. And also, you're a coach of Manchester United. You should have been saying that in this kind of, you don't have time. I promise if Manchester United are in the 10th position by December, he's gone. So you can't just tell me that he needs time to, to blend in one. He had a whole season. and the summer.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you, and I think I'm with you on that one. Only Ten Hag needs to wake up before it's too late for him and Manchester United.
Reggie,
The matter is that nobody's going to wait. The season is going. Every day you have 3 points to grab.
you know, yeah, I think I get what Nimi is trying to say. Do you understand? Because he mentioned quality. You understand? It's like when you get to Liverpool. Remember the time that Virgil van Dijk was out, okay, and they started playing Gomez and Matip. It was a mess, okay, but that didn't mean that they were not Liverpool players. But there are Liverpool players and there are Liverpool players. I don't know if I'm making sense. That's where Nimi's coming from. Do you understand? Like when you come to Man U, okay, look at look at the struggle they went through when they were trying to get their midfield fixed. Okay. Remember the reason they came for Mount was because they needed his help in the midfield. Okay. And so he gets there, and they're now telling us that Mount's play and Bruno's does not gel. We say, okay, they now said, oh, let's put Bruno up front as usual. That one, very stubborn. He will never move for no man. Okay, Mount versus Casemiro, and they said it wasn't gelling. So they went ahead and got the Moroccan Netherlands guy. Baldy, yeah. So they went and got him. And the first game, I think they played him out of position. He was a mess because he was trying to see if, he can utilize the guy somewhere else. And it was a total mess. And then I can't remember the game they played somewhere. I can't remember the tournament, yeah. They played him in the midfield and he was fantastic. But guess what? He broke like a doll. So it's not about just having like every team. It happens to every team. Look at us. Like, okay, this is even a perfect example. When Uren broke like a doll, okay? We already wrote like, I'm sure if I were Arteta and I got that guy, I would have written like a full 7 months playbook focusing on Timber, okay? If it was just Timber that we had, I'm just trying to, paint a scenario for you. The thing with United is, of course, they are United. They are big, Alex Ferguson, kind of big then. But the guys that they need are not here. And that's the disadvantage of building your playbook around particular players. That is what is happening to them. So I get what Nimi is trying to say. It's like when you leave Matip to play the back because Virgil van Dijk is not around, you're not going to get the same quality of football.
But the thing is, what we're saying is, I understand it. I get it. I hear you guys. It's a fact that these players are injured. But the point is, nobody is going to wait. First of all, you need to have a style of play. This is the second season in United. And most other coaches join a team, they have to figure it out, then start to sign players. But he came into United, he was giving money right away. He signed players, and he has signed players again this summer. So it's not all about winning games. But you watch United now, you don't know what they are trying to do. Is it going to take them 4 years to get a style of play? I'm not talking about winning now. Of course, you can't win all the games, but let people see this is what this guy is trying to do. Then they'll keep improving on it. Have something. Give the fans something to.
You got them to Champions League, though. Got them to Champions League.
Well, we'll see. But I know United fans are not happy with Ten Hag. The football world is waiting for him to expose what he's trying to do with United. But for now, nobody can see it. Like you said, all these players, you mentioned their name. He went and got those players, and I believe that he should have known what he wanted to do with them before he got them. So if they get in there and it's not working, that means he went to go and buy the wrong tools. So that's the point. And the problem is that there is no philosophy. You can't say this is what United is trying to do. Onana is a misfit to the players in front of him as defense. So what is here? So we need to understand what he's trying to do. That's my point. So we move to the game of the weekend, the massive one, the biggest game of this weekend. It was much talked about. I'm fair enough to both sets of fans. They were all confident that their team was going to carry the day. Chelsea fans, we are really heavy on the social media, on the airspace about what the result was going to be. In so many combined 11 that I saw, Chelsea fans were really bullish and aggressive in those content. And fair enough, on the field of play, their players came with that same mentality. They were really aggressive. They started that game with a very bullish mentality. And we are in the faces of Arsenal players from the beginning of the first whistle of the game. And Arsenal found it difficult to keep pace with that aggression that that Chelsea brought. And of course, everybody that watches EPL knew that Chelsea was due one very big result or big performance. And don't forget that the first game of the season as well, Chelsea didn't do badly against Liverpool. So I think Arsenal players were dazed. They didn't expect what they saw. Arteta, for me as well, too, was dazed because Pochettino came with something different, playing a false nine, which I was watching Odegaard. He looked like somebody that was lost because, obviously teams go into games with a plan. So when you go in there and the other team, all of a sudden, you don't see what you worked on in the training ground on how to approach the game. It takes a little bit for you to adjust. And Arsenal, this time around, it took them too long, if at all, until they got that lifeline from Sanchez. And of course, when that's what they say, well, this is what big teams do. They find a way, even when you don't play well, to get a result. Of course, again, Arteta has also brought onto himself this conversation that will never go away. Is De Villarreal actually better than Ramsdale? That's another question that has to be answered by Arteta again after watching that game yesterday. So it was a very interesting game to watch, especially for neutrals. Chelsea fans are proud fans right now based on what their team did. Though I still can pick bones from that performance. Yes, the aggression is what actually saw Chelsea through. But when you really break the game down into some very important aspects of the game, they still have things to work on if they really want to move to the pinnacle of the table in EPL. So, guys, you are welcome to discuss this. We have Bados. I know he couldn't have missed this one. This is the man that predicted that Chelsea will win the league this season. He's back to join us. Bados, let's hear. Modric looks like he's back to life. He's getting into, bit by bit. He's getting confidence, and the Chelsea fans are beginning to give him the support that he needed. He got that fluke goal. Of course, credit to him. If you don't, they say you should give yourself a chance of a luck. If you didn't kick the ball, of course, there won't be a goal. So what's your overall thought about the game? I know you're busy and just drop by. You can't miss this one. So let's have your thoughts before we go.
I thought it was an interesting game. I told you before the game that the game will be won or lost in the midfield. And if you look at the midfield, you know that Chelsea has a better midfield than Arsenal right now. So I thought it was going to be interesting. What Chelsea did yesterday was to stifle all Arsenal attack. Saka and Martinelli couldn't play. The only time I saw Saka play was the cross that brought the second goal. It was a midfield that was dominated by Chelsea. We missed a lot of chances. I feel it's a loss. But some of these guys, they haven't played in the Premier League before. Like the second goal, Gusto was, he was caught napping. Those are the things that change the game. In big games, you have to be alert for 93 minutes. And unfortunately, it didn't happen for us. So, we have a lot to take out from the game, but I think we dominated. So it feels like a loss to Chelsea fans.
Yeah, when we were doing the combined 11, we talked about Thiago Silva. That guy was solid yesterday, but there is something, I don't know if you agree with me on this, and what do you think? I think Chelsea, I've been saying it all season, though he's beginning to look like I am wrong, but I saw it toward the end of that game yesterday. Once Arsenal went long with Nketiah, Jesus is a striker that keeps everything in front of you. So it was easy for Thiago Silva to deal with. But once Arsenal tried to go long a couple of times, he was out. So don't you think Chelsea should start? Is it not a worrying situation for Chelsea right now? Because they seem not to have any replacement for him. Unfortunately for Chelsea, they're not playing in Europe, so they have fewer games to worry about right now. But if Chelsea didn't want to move forward, I think they should do something about that position. What's your take?
Well, I think when you say Chelsea don't have replacement, I think maybe you're not looking deeper into the whole situation. We have so many replacements. Are they of the quality of Thiago Silva? No.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
They are younger defenders. Fofana is injured. Beneshile is injured. Disasi didn't play yesterday. So these are three defenders that on a regular, if all those players were available, there will be, even if we don't have Europe, Thiago Silva will be on rotation. He will be play this week, maybe next week. The next week he doesn't play.
When those guys were fit, Thiago Silva was still playing.
No. When they were fit, I think last we were rotating. When we had Europe, we were rotating. That does not take away the quality of Thiago Silva. He's like fine wine. He's like fine wine. He gets older, he's getting better. But let's if I would just delve into the game, what I said on the podcast was what happened. If you remember, I said it wasn't going to be an easy game.
Of course, we all agreed to that, yeah.
And not everybody agreed, though. My comrade Chioma was not agreed with that, if you remember. She didn't agree to it. It was going to be an easy game.
Call my name.
The second thing I talked about, when we debated, I said, Raya, your goalkeeper is someone that doesn't have that confidence. He's struggling. You guys were saying, no. Did you observe what happened at the game? The moment Raya got the ball, Palmer was always chasing him. Palmer was going around him. He didn't have the confidence, and he would struggle. And also, that midfield, Caicedo was showing why he was over 100 million pounds. Enzo, Gallagher, and everybody.
Did you see Gallagher?
What I'll tell you is this: I feel deflated. That was a loss for me.
I feel you. I understand that.
No, we are deflated, angry, because if not for Akpeyi Sanchez, we would have won that game. Arsenal didn't have nothing.
No.
Arteta was schooled. Pochettino has never lost to Arteta. Pochettino has never lost to Arsenal. He was schooled. He was confused. And Gabriel and Saliba were confused because they didn't know who to mark with that false nine that we brought it. They didn't know who to pin, who was going to be the free man, and none of that. So for the game, I'm really mad I didn't bring my wine today. I have my wine. I was going to come toast, but we moved. And I told you, just to end it all, the midfield three, the Father, the Spirit, and the Holy Ghost. And so Caicedo and Gallagher are coming in. Mind you, when Lavia comes, Ugochukwu gets a grip. That Chelsea midfield is looking deadly.
Have you paid for Lavia?
Yeah, of course. Lavia is in Chelsea. Yeah. So, Chioma, can you react to that? What's your overall thought about the game?
Anyway, first of all, I want to raise a glass to Chelsea, because they've been selling us on Poch is cooking, and finally I see what is cooking. I'm not here to trash talk Chelsea. Some people think I like to trash talk them. So I watched the game. And was I proud? I was so proud. Did they convince me? Yes, I was so convinced. The false nine thing, we didn't see that coming. Okay? The whole setup for that game. Come on. What's his name now? The Travis Scott's defender. Gusto, or what's his name? The one with the Travis Scott hairdo. For the first time, I was like, what? I was like, Martinelli, you're supposed to be running circles around this guy, okay? He's got brace. You don't got brace. Do something. But that guy, I don't know why Chelsea fans are blaming the second goal on him. The guy was gassing out. Do you know how old he is? Have you ever tried running after Martinelli and caging him? You guys know what I'm talking about. See, Martinelli is, don't quote me, is Sterling on steroids. Okay? When he runs,
that guy doesn't get tired, man.
Makes to run. Do you understand? But you see that Gusto guy, I was like, see, I have never ever watched him closely like this. Is it the midfield? You know when they were saying Poch is cooking? You guys, I'm sold. Caicedo, that guy is very physical. His he's not such a tiny man, but I've never seen his physicality. I didn't see that in Brighton. I'm sorry if there's any Brighton fan here. I didn't see that about him. And Enzo, now he's telling us why you guys paid that amount of money for him. There's this synergy in the midfield that I admire. We have that anyway. So, but like, it was so believing. Like, I was so convinced. And the fact that Ben White could not catch Sterling, like Sterling. Ben White. I'm like, yo, you shouldn't have sprayed your hair into a derby, but you went and sprayed it. Now you can't even chase this guy down. He's like, little. I mean, every Chelsea player for me earned points. And I'm not saying this because I'm drinking red wine to Chelsea anyway, but I'm just saying that whatever they going yesterday, it worked. And okay, people are blaming Sanchez that, he lost them the match. That's the con of all these our ball playing keepers that we decided, all of us have decided that we want ball playing keepers in football. Okay, catch them outside the box, like outside. You saw how they scored my guy now, Raya. That thing looks like Mudik was crossing. He wanted to cross to Sterling in his mind, but he figured that Sterling can't even do any aerial duel because, he's this tiny. And he saw that my guy was out of his post and he made the cross and it became a Maicon kind of goal. So for me, every Chelsea player came to play. But guess what? That's what a derby is supposed to look like. I mean, I left Arsenal and I focused on Chelsea and everybody that came in. Even when Noni came in, although he was bullied, by the way, I loved watching how, they kept, kicking him sideways because he's a child. He will catch up anyway, but everybody looked okay. So for the first time, like, I'm raising a glass to Chelsea fans. I don't do this ever.
Yeah. The thing is, I've watched EPL for a little bit. There are some things sometimes that decide some of these games, and once you let those things catch you, it's difficult to come back from. Sometimes referees play a role in it. There's something they used to tell us when I started playing football, that once you go into a game, use the first 5 minutes to understand the mind of the referee. Some referees don't want contact. Some referees want contact. So going into that game, Chelsea players were in the faces of Arsenal players, having some niggles on them. Saka and Martinelli were naive to that. And once the first 2 times, Gusto and Cornwell got away with it, that was it for both of them. The only person that escaped that thing was what's his name? Jorginho. Jorginho had the experience. Once you find him, he will just go to ground. Once you find him, he just goes to ground. And because of where he is, if he goes to ground, the referee has to call the pass. For me, it looks very little, but this is one of the reasons why Saka and Martinelli did not have good games, because these guys kept kicking them. It wasn't obvious foul. It wasn't a big foul, but it was enough to obstruct their play. And once Gusto and this guy got away with those niggles, it was a problem. If you remember, at some point in the game, there was one that Saka went past Cucurella, but actually stopped because Cucurella was kicking him. The referee was forced to call that foul.
Reggie, stop making it.
Let me finish. It's not an excuse. We're analyzing the game. Don't call it an excuse. We're analyzing the game. These are the things that you're taught when you go into big games. There are things that you do that win you games. You don't just go into a game and play straight to get. There are little stuff that coaches will teach you that you're taught that will make you win games. If you don't have those crafts in you, this is the reason why I remember in those days when Nigeria plays against Argentina or Brazil, we say the referee is against us. Because those guys actually know how to use these little tricks on the referees. If you touch them, they will go to ground. But if you touch a Nigerian player, then we want to show that we are macho and we lose our reading. So Chelsea did that very well yesterday. They used those stats and got in the faces and in the minds of Arsenal players before they could know what was happening. They had lost. They couldn't get their reading. So that's my point. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but this is something Chelsea did very well yesterday. And in big games, these are things that you don't only win games because you played well. You have to bring some of this craft into it as well to get you whatever gets you the result. Mourinho used to do it against Arsenal. I remember in those days too. They said Arsenal players were babies. So yeah, Chelsea had a very, very good game yesterday. But again, it's not all out. The game is 90. In fact, these days is 97 to 100 minutes. You have to stay on it. If you do well for 75 minutes and the remaining 15, 20 minutes, you think you have won the game. That's what happens. And I think Pochettino and his players would have learned that yesterday. Emperor, let's bring you into the conversation. What was your main takeaway from the game yesterday?
Honestly, I guess I underestimated Chelsea. Honestly, before the game, I was very
confident.
I was very confident for the game, honestly, but I went back to watch Arteta's press conference. He mentioned something about some of the games that Chelsea lost, they actually played well. And after the game, I actually understood why he made that comment. These guys have a lot of good players, but the fact that they've been doing really bad in the past couple of games, I thought it's going to be like a walk in the park, just, as usual, 2-0. But I'm sure a lot of Arsenal players were shocked by the intensity. They were off for that game.
They were in their faces.
They were playing for the pride, honestly. I feel like Chelsea were prepared for this game. And the fact that Arteta didn't have really time to prepare the team, been gone for 2 weeks. Some of them came back on Thursday morning after the Wednesday game, Thursday morning. They didn't have a lot of time to prepare for that game. So he just honestly, I'm not trying to give excuses. I'm not giving excuses. I'm just saying.
This is going to be someone on the mount.
Everybody went on 2 week break. I love Arsenal fans.
I give credit to Chelsea for they did well, but at the end of the day, that's three points dropped. Honestly, they should have won that game.
But then let me ask you another thing. Talking point for Chelsea. I'm sure if you had a better striker yesterday, regardless of the Sanchez howler, you would have still won the game. Do you think the Jackson of the guy is the way to go for?
He's not good enough. Sorry, he's not.
No. Sorry, I think it's there's something about football. If you don't start the game, he came in. I think it was in the 70th or thereabout. When you come in, So when you come into a game, it takes a while for you to get on the pace of the game because you haven't played with. You didn't start in the beginning. It happens a lot. I think his first touch with the ball. I didn't know why he wanted to round the goalkeeper. If it's a striker like Didier Drogba, you would just lob over the goalkeeper. You didn't have to.
If I go back to a few minutes ago, are you giving an excuse now? So that you see that.
I'm not. This is what I'm saying.
I mean, Trossard came in too as a sub and delivered the assumptions.
But they play different roles. He came in. Hold on. Let me finish. It's not. I'm not going to blame him for anything. The only thing is he didn't start the game. It takes a while for you to gel into the game, and we were already 2-0 up, so there was no need for him to be. I've been telling you before the game started. I told you that the game will be won in the midfield, and we dominated, and that's why you saw that we scored 2 goals.
No, my question to you, like, if Chelsea had a better striker yesterday in the person of Jackson, don't you think you have won the game?
No, it wasn't about striker. We were up 2-0 without a striker, so it was about the.
I mean, 2 goals. What happened that you showed that 2 goals was not enough to win the game. So, and if you had a chance to score, get the 3rd goal, then obviously you would have won.
Because Poch made some changes that didn't make sense.
I was going to get to substitutions. Yes,
you were up 2-0. Right. There was no need to bring in Jackson. What you do, you bring in more people in the midfield or defender before they even brought James. There was no need to bring in James and others. Jackson. He could have brought in somebody like Ugochukwu, just to make sure that
they keep the pace in the wings. I think he did that eventually, but it was too late. By the time he brought
it was too late. Like I said, if you look at the SG table for Premier League and the table itself, Chelsea, our position on the SG table doesn't reflect our position on the Premier League.
That's what I'm telling you about Jackson. You're making an excuse for him. If you have a better striker, Chelsea.
So How many games has he played? He was out against
No, he
Burnley.
just missed
So,
one game. Jackson has been missing chances game in, game out.
Reggie, who can do? I hear you. I'm a straight shooter. I don't try to mince my words. From the first time I came from week 1, I said Chelsea will need, if we are going to get 20 goals from a striker, we need 18, 17, 20 goals. Reggie, remember?
Yeah, you call that guy Kabu striker.
Yeah. Jackson is not a man for you. Jackson won't give you more than 10 goals in a season. Jackson is not a striker for you. I understood what Poch was trying to do. Remember, Jackson is the striker that is...
It's a workaholic, yeah.
Workaholic. So Palmer, Mudryk, they were getting tired. We still needed to press Arsenal from the top, as we were doing, and we worked out. So he thought or felt that, what do you call him? Jackson did that job. Jackson came in there and he fluffed. He fluffed, and it was a disappointing performance from him, if the truth should be told. As we start moving forward into the season, I think Chelsea would need to invest in a striker. If, as we start January, by next season, Jackson and Broha are not the way forward. Another thing we need to invest on is we have spent 1 billion, almost 1 billion. I don't understand why Sanchez is our starting goalkeeper. We should have invested more on a more disciplined, more astute goalkeeper. Because that guy doesn't give confidence. I've been saying every game, he's prone to mistakes. He's not confident. And that's why he was shipped out of Brighton. That's how he lost his place to Lee Steele at Brighton. He's not confident.
Yeah, Arsenal has the same problem. I don't know why. I still don't know why Arteta brought in Raya ahead of Ramsdale. This coach. In fact, going into that game yesterday, when the game started, I was saying all these coaches, they always come into a game and make a big game and make a decision that you think that they plan to lose the game. I don't understand how Arteta started Jorginho in that game yesterday. It wasn't a game for him to start. These coaches, they always, even from Mourinho to Ferguson, sometimes they come into these big games, you're like, is he planning to win this game or lose it? And one of the biggest criticism about Arteta yesterday and his team was it took them too long to figure out. In fact, they didn't even figure out Chelsea. Actually, Chelsea handed Arsenal a chance. They took it from Rice and grew from there. Though Arteta, one thing he has done this season, he has improved in his subs. Substitutions has actually won us now a lot of games this season, which happened again against Chelsea. That's the only good thing that I can take out from Arteta. But starting the Jorginho in that game yesterday, I mean, Partey came in and did beats against City. I was thinking that he was going to start the game at least for the first half, and he can take him off because he's a mainstay.
Partey already played 2 games with Ghana already.
No, he didn't. He played 65 minutes and came back. He didn't finish those games.
When he played the first game against Mexico, and he played against USA. So he just traveled. He kept, and Jorginho was put in there. I could understand what Arteta was doing. Caicedo and Enzo would sit. He was thinking Arsenal was going to dictate that midfield. And who better to hold that midfield than the guy that
Jorginho.
Jorginho to hold it. Remember when Arsenal played against last season, I've forgotten the game that Arsenal played, a big game, and Jorginho.
I think it was City.
Man City.
And Jorginho was the finalista. Yeah. So he was thinking that was going to be the case, but he didn't understand that the pressing, even before Jorginho had the ball, Palmer was there. And that's why Odegaard was useless.
Yeah, as we were talking today, something that came to my mind, I thought that too was naive on his comments after City game, because he gave Raya away by saying that he told him to hold onto the ball a little bit longer for them to press on him. Yes. So actually, Chelsea worked on that. So, okay, this guy has been told to hold on. So once the ball goes in, he's not going to play it. So if you want to press him, be aggressive. So, and that kind of unseated, then it was just, for me, it was a good day for Chelsea yesterday. Chelsea fans should be proud of what they saw. Pochettino, like I said in the past, and this is what happens what coaches need to do. Identify your core. Mourinho, when he was in Chelsea, he had 15 players that he was working with, except there's need to bring somebody, maybe somebody is injured. He doesn't really worry with the other players. Identify your core and stick with them. Game in, game out. They lose, they win. Let them understand what you're trying to do. Then you can start bringing in players to add to it if you want, if you need to. So, but I think he has found the way he wants to play, the players he wants to work with. He should continue with it. The only problem I have is like there are still three positions that he needs to think about. Thiago Silva, if he's not there, what happens? Because that man, the way he reads the game, the way he helps, even at his age, to compress the field for Chelsea by keeping high line. And of course, Sanchez and the striking position at the place I think Chelsea need to open. Otherwise, other positions have been taken care of. Chelsea needs to start with, but like you said, your SG is very high, but unfortunately, you don't take those chances. If Sterling is not scoring, no other person is scoring. So it was a
Okay,
good. Go ahead.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask this the Chelsea fans. So do you think Jackson and the Palmer was brought in as a stopgap, or they're like the long-term striking solution for Chelsea?
I think no. Our main striker, like if he's fit, will be in Cuckoo, and then Jackson will come in once in a while. But in Cuckoo supposed to be the main striker, and right now he's injured. I understand he will come back in November. When he's fit, Jackson will be sitting out. Breuer will be sitting out a little bit.
But Cuckoo doesn't really play as an out striker.
He plays every position, and he's a better finisher than Jackson. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, you know there is a difference between when you lash onto space left by a main striker than when you are the main man up there. I don't think he's the main man. The way he plays, the set Poch wants to mold him into that.
Go ahead, sir.
He can play. I watch him when he was in so he can play as a 9. He can play from the left. But I believe that Chelsea will stay by a striker in January because Jackson right now, he still has a lot to learn from the game. He's only 22 or so, and he has a lot to learn. And Breuer is coming back from injury, so we still need to buy a striker in January. But Nkuku is the guy right there. There are those chances that, like for example, that chance that Jackson mixed yesterday, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Nkuku will put the ball or put it in the back of the net. Yeah. These are the kind of things.
Even the one Palmer also, the one that Raya scuffled. I don't know why that Raya made a mistake in trying to find it.
Exactly. Palmer tried to. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Just take your chance.
Just lift the ball, lift it up, and that's it. So there are players that are meant for. It reminds me when. Like a Van Nistelrooy, all those kind of people.
Before you even make the mistake, he has already scored.
The ball is in the back of the net. So these are in big games, you don't get many chances, but when you get them, you just take them. But like I said, Chelsea will win the league this season.
Man, I think Newcastle is another ring.
Mimi,
you're having passive of me. Let me have some of it too.
Mimi, I have watched the Premier League for a long time. It's only it's only 9 points gap, which is 3 games. I tell you what I know. Chelsea will win the league.
Would you want to bet your house on that?
This guy will bet.
I won't bet my house, but I'll bet you money. We can put it aside. We're on live TV.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, after the show, let's do a private play. I'll bet you on that, man.
Yeah, guys, it's been an interesting one. I think going by what happened yesterday, not just yesterday, all through the season, Chelsea has not really done badly. Chelsea fans have something to hope on if this continues. if it continues, because sometimes the ginger you come into big games with doesn't necessarily work in other games. Chelsea, for one thing we have agreed here today that they need to start to find a way to put away chances if you want to do best in the league, because if you don't score, the opponents, you don't tie their legs from scoring. And that's what happened yesterday. If Chelsea had put away the result, maybe had like 3 goals lead, I don't think Arsenal would have come back into the game. Leaving it at 2-0, and Sanchez doing what he knows how to do best, gave Arsenal a renewed belief in the game, and that they pounced on and got a result. So it's getting interesting. 9 games into the season is shaping up. It looks like there's no clear-cut favorite, though normally it's after 10 games that you begin to look at how the league is going to shape up. But from after playing 9 games this weekend, it doesn't look like 10 games will define anything. The gap from the first on the table to up to almost 8, I don't think is more than 5 points. So meaning that this season is going to be very, very competitive. Everybody needs to believe and support their team, because everybody has a chance. Every team that has always been in the mix has a chance this season. Arsenal has a chance.
Even
Chelsea has a chance. City has a chance. Liverpool. So Newcastle, we're talking about winning the league. Newcastle is not far away from, I know in the table now, I think they are 6th on the table, but from what we have seen the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't think they are far away in terms of performance and quality from giving a shot on the title. Liverpool have their issues, but still they have come back with the aggression that they are known for, and they are winning games as well. So it poses to be an interesting season. We're here for it as fans. That's what we want. We want to go into games excited. We want to watch games and jumping off our seats. And that's what we saw yesterday. Chelsea from nowhere surprised the footballing world, though their fans were adamant before that game that Chelsea was going to have the day. Though I know that Chelsea were due for a big result somewhere. I didn't know it was going to be yesterday, but I knew that. So because that's how EPL is. No team just goes that way. Sometimes all of a sudden they just come up with that big result was due for Chelsea, and they narrowly missed it yesterday. They got the big performance, but they didn't get the result, which is not, at least they didn't lose the game, because it would have been worse that, because Nketiah almost nicked it off of, what's his name, Thiago Silva. Can imagine if that had gone in and Arsenal had won that game yesterday. I'm sure most of the conversation today would have been, Poch did this, Poch did not do that. But again, I think draw ended up being a fair result based on how that game panned out. Chelsea ordinarily supposed to have won the game, but for Arsenal to still believe after going 2 goals down in Stamford Bridge and coming back to it, gives them some claim on how the result eventually came, which is a draw. So for me, I believe that draw was a fair result, considering that those two teams were at each other, for 100 minutes. So guys, thank you for finding time this Sunday afternoon to stop by Transit TV. Our viewers, you have seen is a lot of debates. We have had some very heated debates here today, both on the Chelsea and Arsenal game, United, City, Brighton. So let us know what you feel about our positions on these conversations. Get busy. We can see our comment section is getting busier. From our next show, we'll start reading out some of the comments that we'll see on the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, please, please, please. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do that right now. Hit the like button and support us on our road to 5,000 subscribers this month. The channel is growing. We're happy and we thank you for the support. Guys, anybody have anything to say before we round up? We have 2 minutes to end this one.
Yeah, Reggie, I was going to ask you, I was talking to some of my Arsenal, friends around. Even my brother is a very good Arsenal fan. They say you guys are going to go unbeaten. Are you guys still talking about the invincible this season?
No, nobody should.
That's too early. That's too early for them.
I don't know why any Arsenal fans are talking about invincibility this season. What we need is a trophy. Arsenal needs to win a trophy this season. I don't care about, even if you lose 10 games and win the Man City. City has never gone unbeaten, and they are seen as one of the best teams in the Premier League history. I don't know why anybody should engage themselves with that conversation right now. The team hasn't really performed how we think they should be performing this season. So that should be my worry, not if we lose or we don't lose a game. No, I'm not worried about that right now.
I'm not.
That's not of any significance to me right now.
Yeah, and also like whoever, any Arsenal fan that's thinking about Invincible, he just delusional because we could have lost the game yesterday.
Of course,
if it wasn't for the keeper, we could have lost that game. So you know, I respect Chelsea for the performance they put in yesterday. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that honestly, but you know,
what that game shows is what Ferguson used to say it, Wenger used to say it, anybody that knows football used to say it. If you don't start the game with the right mentality and right, it's difficult to come back. Chelsea was on high. There was a gap. The difference was much. So Arsenal players could not find their way into it. Even Arteta himself was dazed. It took him time before he could start, you know, and Chelsea players never stopped. It's not like they did it for 10, 15 minutes and stop. They did that for at least 80 minutes. So
that's sport modus operandi, isn't it? A high intensity, you know, and counter pressing, I know. So that is MO. So I'm not surprised.
And also, I feel league is still like 5, 10, 9 games into the season. Like some of these players are new, that they might need a longer time. Chelsea in the next 10, 15 games will be stronger. I promise you.
Yeah, somebody predicted on this channel that in October is when we will see Pochettino's team. You remember?
I think it was Nimi.
It was Tony. Tony said it. He hasn't been. I said in October that we will see Pochettino's team. Yeah, we round up now, and we'll come back here on Wednesday or Tuesday on Wednesday to talk about the Champions League and of course prepare for the games next weekend for the teams that are in Europe. I know Chelsea is not part of this one. So Arsenal, United, and Newcastle, we're talking about
they can't be part of this.
Thank you guys.
Reggie, before you go, since you're saying Chelsea not in the Champions League, I have some stars that I kept for you.
No, we are gone. Let's have it in the next show. Have 1 second. Our time for the meeting is gone. Thank you guys. Good to see you. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
Bye, everybody.